What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to rank the 4 Gotham Knights in terms of how much I like their gameplay. So this is going to be based off of solely the gameplay that we've seen from them so far. Now, the thing is this, it's a little tough because you have the 4 gameplay trailers, quote unquote, that are around, minute and a half, minute 40, and they range, and I definitely want to bring those up. And then, of course, you have what they've shown in other things, right? We had extended looks at Red Hood, Nightwing, and Batgirl. Robin easily has the least. So when we go through this list, keep in mind, I guess, the amount of time that we've seen each of these 4. But I'm going to go best to worst. Keep in mind one final thing. I fully intend, hopefully at least, if there's enough time in my life, to play this game through with all 4 of them. Not even necessarily switching in-game, but playing the entire game through once just as Batgirl, as Robin, as, doing it like that. I intend to do that. So my worst, quote-unquote, I still plan on playing the entire game as that character. All right? Hopefully that all makes sense. Hopefully that doesn't upset anybody, but you know what? Who really cares? Let's go into it. Number 1, I'm going to stick with Batgirl. Now, here's the reason I say Batgirl, because I did say Robin on Twitter, okay? Robin, I would not put at number 1 if we're talking about everything we've seen so far, because we haven't seen enough of Robin, period. You know what I mean? What we have seen of Robin was good, but what we've seen of Batgirl overall, in my opinion, has been incredibly consistent, right? I would say going all the way back to 2020, seeing her in action, seeing her this time. Obviously, we've gotten the most, I would say probably the most gameplay and kind of the most clean gameplay from her. You get to see her in the entirety of the 16 minutes. So what I guess I'm saying is it could be unfair, right? Because we've seen her the most, I would imagine, if you were to count up amount of time somebody's on the screen and you're moving around as that character. Plus, there is the biasness that, and they've said it too, this is not obviously me just saying it, Batgirl is the closest to that Arkham style, that Batman style thing. There is a part of me that really likes that, and I appreciate that Batgirl is not a clone, but again, she's the closest one to being that. Maybe that helps her stand out more from the jump, but she does act like it. I mean, when you watch, again, either you watch the gameplay trailer or you watch the 30-second clip they show after the gameplay trailer, I mean, she looks really fun to not just actually fight, right? Fighting is a huge part of it, but also moving around the environment, getting from point A to point B. Again, biasness, she's the closest to a Batman, but she does look the most fun, in my opinion. I've always been a Batgirl main. That's been my stance since literally August of 2020. I'm not going to change it now. But number 2, in a stunning upset, is Robin. Again, on Twitter, I said Robin's number 1. Robin is number 1 if you only go based off the 4 gameplay trailers. And what I mean by that is, the minute and a half, minute 40-second trailers that they've posted. I think Robin, and that is why Robin is actually higher, because although that, we saw him in that, and we saw him for maybe 30 seconds in the first ever, gameplay presentation for the game back in August 2020. I'll be honest, though, in those 2 times, you sold me. You sold me. Really, that trailer sold me because you kind of had to do it in that way. He looks like a blast to play. He really does in terms of fun. Just now, and I don't know if it's going to work, if we see him fight or move around or whatever for 15 minutes. I don't know how that's going to go, but I will not change my mind on that. His gameplay trailer was not even close. It was better, and it's not even close the next up, right? I just thought he was phenomenal, and he moved the needle, because to be honest with you, it was kind of Batgirl and then a big gap and then everybody else. But then as these gameplay trailers, and of course you see the extended gameplays of Nightwing and Red Hood, which do clue you in on how they're gonna play and move around and stuff. It's all right, well, Robin, you really need something, and they just nailed it, again, in my opinion. He looks like a lot of fun to play, and he looks different. His fighting style is very different. We'll see about his, movement around the environment. I know there's a lot of people that are not, for that. That's fine. I don't even know if I am. We'll have to see how that all works. And then I'm going to cop out, and I'm going to put Nightwing and Red Hood at last. I'm going to kind of tie them for it. And I guess the reason for this is, it could be their fault. It could not be their fault. I would say if we're going to talk about Red Hood was really hurt by the person, and we keep saying, and I know it maybe gets old to some people, but the person playing the Red Hood gameplay was absolutely awful. I mean, that's a shot at them. I don't really care. It's an unnamed person, so it's not like anybody's going after them. That person really hurt, I think, because it's like you're just so bad at it, and you don't make Red Hood look fun to play because you're messing up. You're not achieving like any combos. You're trying to set things up and then you're not able to. It just looked messy. And then, obviously today when I'm recording this is when we had the Red Hood trailer, the gameplay trailer. I didn't mind it. Again, though, it's just I don't really care all that much. I do think his style is going to be very, very unique. I think a lot of people are going to play as him for like the guns and like shooting from far distances, and that's fine. And honestly, that's a huge draw for me too. Again, I plan on playing the game full, like all the way through with just Red Hood. But if I were to say like who's going first, it absolutely would not be him. I don't know. He just doesn't seem to me as fun. He seems, and like I would say stiff. I mean, I'm sure he's supposed to be more stiff and less agile than say a Nightwing or even really all of them. I would imagine he would be the most stiff out of all of them, but he just doesn't look insanely fun to play. He doesn't look awful. I'm not saying that. But, and again, I'll give it to you guys if you want to, say you don't agree. I'll give it to Warner Bros. Montreal. Really, he was hurt by the gameplay presentation and that he may be really fun to play and somebody who is really good as, like in the Arkham games when you're able to achieve just like the highest, you're able to just constantly chain attacks. And, you can really sell it about how good you are. I'm sure there's somebody that can do incredible things with Red Hood. The person playing could not, and that really hurt how I see him. Again, that doesn't mean I'm not going to play as him. And then when it comes to Nightwing, I made mention of Nightwing, I think, in his own video. I made a Nightwing video, and people poked at me a little bit with jokes in terms of, because I think I said he's too agile. Like, he flips and jumps too much. And people are like, are you really complaining that Nightwing... I get it, okay? I understand, like, the kind of character he is. I just don't think that's my style, okay? So I guess to kind of clear the record, I get that's how he plays, and that's how he should play. It's actually not like they're doing something very, very random. It's just I don't know if I can play a game where the character... you could think maybe like Spider-Man, you do a lot of gymnastics, you're moving around quite often, but I just feel like Nightwing is like that, and then you took steroids and you're high or whatever, and you're just on like a different planet. Nightwing bounces around, for me, for my personal play style, way too much. So I would say if I didn't want to cop out, I would put Red Hood above Nightwing. It would go Batgirl, then a gap, because we don't really know fully about Robin. So I would say Batgirl, and then a gap, and then Robin, and then a huge gap, and then Red Hood, and then Nightwing. And that's not a big gap in between those. That would be kind of my order. And again, I'm going to play as all four of them, but Batgirl has been and still will be, unless, but if we see like a 10-minute thing from Robin, and he keeps up the positive energy, the positive vibes of the gameplay trailer, honestly, I feel like I could change. I really feel like I could change and just go with him, because he looked the most fun, but Batgirl has easily been the most consistent. Let me know what you think. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on so you know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow or support me anywhere else, all my social media is in the description below, including our Patreon. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.